amongst photographs, in an album amongst albums, in a trunk visited only by cobwebs and the squeaks of mice. I had remembered to forget you, forgotten to remember you, but the heart trap of memory goes snap, and I am again an Alice in her own tears, always drowning in the same room, feeding my ghost to the sun as eagerly it laps it up. This is the well-known tale of Samson and Rapunzel. Samson wandered out of the Bible into the nearest fairy tale, which just happened to be Rapunzel. Rapunzel. Well, lucky old me, he chuckled to himself, leaving religion behind him. He just tore down the tower, catching her as she fell heavily for him. Underneath the bricks lay the dead witch, but to hell with her. This was the girl of his dreams, heaven sent. They had a whirlwind romance. Rapunzel let down her hair and danced, danced, danced. It was all like some new kind of fairy story written by someone who obviously didn't know the rules or how exactly these things were supposed to go, and made it all wrong, which was just right for her. If she could, she would have kissed that short-sighted, long-haired, myopic Irish bloke who, dozy with his antihistamine medication, he must have been allergic to reality, wrote the first thing that came into mind. Yeah, Samson and Rapunzel. Rapunzel and Samson. It's got that certain ring about it. Like, I was watching my friend make a decision of where to go in the world, and this was her way of doing it. It's called taking flight. She blew up the world, hid her breath inside the gaily coloured globe, the world bouncing off walls, getting stuck on top of a dusty wardrobe. Standing on a chair on tippy-toe, she rescued the trapped world, whereupon it fell onto an open windowsill, balanced precariously, but it almost fell, but didn't fall, caught it just before it could, then taken an elegantly long hatpin from a hat that looked more like a work of art. She closed her eyes, held the globe still, clutched in scarlet fingernails, and pop, plunged the pin into Bangkok. As it happened, the world imploding in on itself with a sly, sibilant hiss as she booked her ticket on the internet. So that's the way to do it. Now this is called One Day at a Time. My mother used to sing this all the time. I don't know if you know, it's a terrible country western song. One day at a time, sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking of you. And the poor thing used to be, I have 7 sisters. So my mother used to have 7 sisters' worths of knickers to iron. It was a big pile of frilly knickers, and she used to iron every frill as well. So it just a pile, and she used to be singing to herself, one day at a time, and this record would go on all the time. One day at a time, and then I'd come into the room and go, sweet Jesus, which happened to be the next line. She used to always say, oh, you're mocking me. One day at a time. Creases line your face. You are a bit frayed about the edges. I unfold your smile, hold you in the palm of my hand. You stare at me, as you always do, while I refold your smile, put you back into my wallet. The fact of your death quickly tucked away, as night gathers me softly to itself. Streetlights with yellow eyes watching me dissolve in mist. Now this is for my little girl. It's called Carrier, because that's what I was. Her mother carried her for 9 months. I carried her then for all the rest of her life. So. I carry her piggyback through leaves and laughter splashed with sunlight, across fields of summer as if we were the one creature, dad and daughter, or I, her St. Christopher, her riding high on my shoulders over stream after stream, she clasping my curls to steer her noble steed, always seeing the world from atop of me, she my little bird, I her perched, crawling now into bed, cuddling into my back, her words sleepy on my shoulders, where I carry her still into her dreams. And finally, that well-known poem called Twak. I hadn't wrote anything for a long time, and I was down making dinner, and Jan was up in the bed, and I wrote this poem called Twak, And I shouted up, "Hey, I've just wrote a poem, you want to hear it?" That's what it's like when two people write poems. And she said, "I've just wrote a villanelle." And I thought, oh, how embarrassing. The missus writing villanelles and me writing stupid stuff like Twak, okay? Gonna Twak! And the first line is, anybody guess the first line? Twak! Don't be a twat, it's Twak! Twak! A knife embeds itself in the space just by her left ear, as if the wood gulped it, sucked it, its glint vibrating still. In her head, she plans dinner. She stares at her husband, remembers how he had come to court her. Twak! Another knife flashes spitefully, narrowly missing her other ear. A little bubble of blood, like a stud earring blossoming on a wobbly earlobe. Ouch! She whispers to herself, guilty at such an overreaction. Oh, how he had excited her, her head in a spin, saying he was in show business. Her world revolves about him. The next knife impregnates itself in the space between her legs. Sorry, I'm in the best possible taste. Like a tuning fork, it hums. Her excitement builds. A splinter of wood nestles in her left inner thigh. Wow, nice. She becomes moist. The shimmy of her spangles as the lights catch her. A little gasp, she faces him boldly, afraid and unafraid. Upside down now, her world all topsy-turvy. She's still so proud of her husband's skill to tantalize her, his unerring accuracy, the pride of being she, the knife thrower's assistant, as well as wife. Twak. Thank you.
Well, Dempsey.